Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. If you're new here, hit that like, subscribe button, hit that bell so you know whenever I post a video. We're going to talk a little bit about the undeniable link of narcissism and cults. This one is a little bizarre because of, obviously you all know the recent election results in my home country, in the US of A. Donald Trump, a convicted felon, has been elected as president, quote unquote, by the majority of American people. And many have claimed that the modern day Republican Party, the Make America Great Again movement under Donald Trump, is a cult. Ironically, people have called Donald Trump a malignant narcissist. And that got me to thinking, you know, I talk about narcissism a lot on this channel, and it made me really want to explore this possible, well, not possible, but this really studied and founded connection between narcissism and cults, you know, the link between narcissism and cults. So let's unpack this a little bit. There are some very, very real connections between narcissism and cult leaders, you know. And I'm going to get into the cult members in a second, but the makings of a cult leader are very, very, let's just say, they're predictable to a certain extent, because we look, you know, and I say we, but I really mean researchers, you know, psychologists, doctors. They have done studies that have looked at the qualities that make a cult leader, that they look at the background of people who become cult leaders, and they examine things, characteristics of these people that they have in common. And often narcissism is a part of that. So, I've got a couple things for you. So this first slide says, and this is from Global Youth Ministry Network. It says the characteristics of a cult are: 1, authoritarian in structure. Okay. 2 is the regimentation of followers. You notice all the MAGA people wear these red Make America Great Again hats. They're donned with these Make America Again flags. I'm reminded to the cult community that followed Osho. You know, they wore all red. The recent, what show was it that we were watching? I think it's Yellow Jackets. It's a Yellow Jackets where everybody was wearing purple. You know, that regimentation, right? I think there's a show, 9 Perfect Strangers, with Nicole Kidman, and they all have to take this smoothie every morning, but it turns out this smoothie has psychedelics in it. We know about Jonestown, obviously, where hundreds of people drank the Kool-Aid and you know, committed mass suicide. Rather, Jim Jones committed mass suicide, and he essentially murdered 900 people. There is this regimentation that happens with cults. Obviously, those cults that I just mentioned, and possible cult of MAGA, they weigh in terms of extremism, you know. And on one end, the most farthest extreme, people have died. On the other further extreme of that end, you know, it just was some people wore weird clothes and, you know, kind of ruin relationships with their families and things like that. So you get what I'm saying. Number 3, exclusive knowledge proclaimed. So there is this inherent, like, we know what's best because our cult leader knows what's best. And we've prescribed what everyone should do. And if you don't get it, you just don't get it. Number 4 is to deny the world. That brings you to the next one, to deny the world and us versus them mentality. Number 5, there's a new interpretation of scripture. So there's often a religious or faith element to it, right? And then 6, there's this non-biblical authority, who is usually their cult leader, or some sort of prophecy that the cult leader has had, or that cult members or cult high up ranking cult members or cult leaders have concocted to make this all make sense. And then 7 is like another Jesus. Often they see that cult leader, the main cult leader, as a Messiah. There's this other slide I have, signs of a cult, signs to detect what a cult is. So it says devotion to an ideal cause or leader, a tendency to isolate members from outside influence, a narrative that positions group against outsiders, black and white thinking, no room for questions or discussions, which we just said, and undue influence or excessive control in members' lives. And that is from the Truism Center, that there. Now, take a look at this parallels authoritarian cult techniques and social media features. The social media features is interesting, but I don't really want to focus on that aspect of this slide. I just thought this was really interesting because it kind of looks like the steps of narcissism when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, but it's talking about cults, which is so weird. Because you see love bombing in there. And those of you who have gone through narcissistic abuse, you know that love bombing is the first phase of being in a relationship with a narcissist, whether that's like your ex-husband or your ex-wife or like your parent or, like a church member or whatever you've had that experience of like going through something with a narcissist, you know that love bombing is the first phase, and then goes to discard. It goes to, what do they call it? So it's love bombing, discard, and then there's the there's the degrade, the discard, and then there's the vacuum, comes back and it repeats all over again. So I thought that was really interesting. But it's also got some social media features in here because we know that cults back in the day, it passed through a different medium. But now it's almost like social media itself has become a cult of personality. And it's almost a cult in itself because it propagates these unreal parameters of life. It's basically like living in an unreal life. So, but I don't really want to focus on that. I want to focus more on the authoritarian cult techniques. So it says love bombing. Cults shower new members with affirmation, affection, flattery for joining, creating a sense of instant community with shared values. You look at people like Jim Jones, I know you better than anyone else. I know that, this life is so messed up, that only I can tell you what's going to be best. It's like they build you up to break you down. Charles Manson, one of the things that his former cult members say is the first thing he did was really look you in the eye and hone in and tell you that you were an outsider just like him, and nobody understood you the way that he did, and nobody understood him the way that you did, and nobody understood you the way that he did, because there is this ultimate connection and you were a chosen one, and they just really just pump you up. They love bomb you the same way a narcissist does. Like from the narcissist that came into my life, when I first met them, I was 21 years old. I was, and this was a very good friend for almost 10 years. And it was a phase in my life where, like I had just been, really getting out into the world as a young adult. And, I was also converting from Islam. I had grown up as a Muslim and I was converting to Christianity. Speaking French, franglais. You guys know I live in France, but I was converting, and there was this element of the church, and there was this love bombing. Oh, you're so intelligent, you're so well spoken for someone your age. The narcissist in my life was much older than me, and it was almost like a mother-like figure, or older sister figure. Oh, you're so intelligent for your age, and there is really just this love bombing that happens. And that's really like the narcissist preparing you to destroy you. So next it goes to exploiting confirmation bias. It says cults adopt techniques like self-reinforcing circular logic to disorient, overload, and confuse members in order to program new beliefs which confirm their existing biases. So there's also this thing of where cult members have a acclamation or an affinity to black and white thinking. They really, really want that mother, father, paternal, maternal like figure to just come in and make life easy for them. Just tell me what's right, tell me what's wrong, Tell me what's good, tell me what's bad, and then I will become your warrior. And that's what they do when people become in cults. You can't tell them nothing, child. Like, they're ready. And narcissists need someone to follow them. You see that toxic codependent relationship, right? It's like the narcissist really needs someone to just listen to them, you know, to just say that you're amazing, to compliment them, to inflate their ego, to tell them you are God, you are Buddha incarnate, you are Jesus incarnate, I will believe and do everything you say. They need that. And the followers need someone to tell them what to do, how to do it, who to reject, what to deny, what to accept. And that toxic relationship just plays off of each other. So that confirmation bias. Next is leveraging fear and leaving. Cults use phobia indoctrination, the irrational fear that leaving will cause bad things to happen, to keep members from leaving. Now think about the narcissist that's been in your life. Think about when you tried to leave, okay? What happened? Their mask fell off, right? You know, because narcissists put on this mask of being loving and accepting, of being like the best thing that's ever happened to you. And then when you threaten to leave, when you start to change, if you start to get more confident in yourself, because slowly they've been building it up in you to not be confident in yourself. And when you threaten to change, to leave, you know, to expand your mind, to see them for who they are, that mask fall off, and it's the scariest thing you've ever seen in your life. And you feel fearful, you feel afraid, you self-doubt, etc. So, abusing partial truths. It says cults embrace partial truths to create convincing narratives that align with their goals. So narcissists live in the world of illusion. Go back and look at my video about that. I've done a video about how narcissists live in this fake world. And there's these new truths that come alive, you know, and they all the cult members just live in this vacuum, you know, this information vacuum. And so it's very hard for information from the outside world to come in, you know. And if you look at the new ecosystem of social media, it's very easy for that to happen with these algorithms. You start to look at some type of content and you just keep getting recommended that type of content. And then this inner group connection forms where if you show forms of going against the grain of the group will chastise you, you know, but they're not going to let you go. They're going to punish you, but they're going to make sure that you don't do it again. Now, look at cults. I'm sorry, look at relationships between a narcissist and a non-narcissist. You know, that's what happens, you know, like the narcissist will basically continue to love bomb you, devalue and degrade you, discard you, and vacuum you back up over and over again until you are so exhausted with this cycle and so bewildered about who you were and what you did and what existed before this narcissist, and so disconnected with yourself and disconnected with the outside world that this becomes your reality. There becomes a codependent relationship on you and the narcissist, and so it's very easy for you to continue to live in this echo chamber. You know, in a narcissistic household, whether it's a family member who's a narcissist, or an in-law, or your partner, or even your child. I know there's some people who also have children who are narcissists, right? There becomes this new world order almost. So that's all I've got for you. If you want to take a look at that chart, take a closer look and you'll see more about the interesting connections and links I was talking about there. I won't read the whole thing, but you can screenshot it or do whatever you want to do. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time. All right, have a good one. Bye.